Thousands of tyres, hundreds of battles, but only one Drift King. Welcome to the 2015 Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series, where the V8s have gone to war with the turbos in a polarising display of high-octane drifting. D1NZ is brought to you by Demon Energy, Gal Fuels, Cody's Bourbon and Cola, Pyro Company Fireworks, The Rock FM, Metal Militia, The Bling Company, Laser Tools, Club Auto Insurance, and our official cup sponsor, Toyotas Galore. I'm Brendan White. Joining me in the commentary is Kenny Ruddle, and the start of the season back in October kicked off in the mighty Manawa 2.
Yes, that's right. Round 1 at Manfield Raceway with the V8 vs Turbo final that really set the scene for the rest of the season as Darren Kelly drew first blood to take his second ever round victory from Andrew Redwood and Adam Hedges. We then went to the concrete jungles at Mount Smart Stadium hosting the Auckland Night Round, and it was plenty of carnage on a new track layout with Drew Donovan and Phil Sutherland taking away the big hits of the night. They walked away unscathed as it all came down to the dramatic final between Kurt Whitaker and Fanger Dan. Fanger spinning out on the final lap. Whitaker would take the top step to claim revenge for the V8 and the Autosure R34.
That's right, Kenny. The series then made its way to ASB Bay Park, Mount Maunganui for round 3 and the second half of the concrete gauntlet. And again, it was another tough round for the pit crews as New Zealand's best drifters laid it all on the line. It was a tough day for Drew Donovan once again. Shane Allen, Fangadan and Michael Prosnick all having their own on-track dramas. But in the end, the final battle would shake up the series points heading into round 4 as Andrew Redwood made another appearance in the final, but a broken half shard would knock him out on the first lap, handing a huge hometown debut victory for Cole Armstrong in the V Energy 250G Skyline.
That brings us to the halfway mark of the season, and after round 3, it's Andrew Redwood leading the series by just 2.5 points from Darren Kelly. Cole Armstrong bumping up into third place with 2 pole positions and a round win. Woolhouse and Templeman rounding out the top 5.
Well, round 4 of the Demon Energy Tour brings us to the Northern Waikato Hampton Downs Motorsport Park, where teams and drivers relished to return to the faster circuits as the championship chase was turned up to a whole new level. Yes, that's right, thanks to Toyotas Galore and Kempe's Mitsubishi, the Demon Energy D1NZ series returned to one of the most unique and challenging drift sections of the country, where a good setup over the undulating midsection can take you to the top of the podium.
With a good crowd in attendance, this was Hamilton and Waikato's chance to see the D1NZ high horsepower monsters in the flesh and meet their favourite drivers. The championship title fight is always the big talking point, and after round 3 in Tauranga, it was the hometown hero Cole Armstrong who took the spotlight after taking a top qualifying effort at round 2 at Mount Smart. He then went back-to-back with pole position at Bay Park before sealing the deal on round 3, his efforts bumping him up into 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, Tauranga, obviously, finally at my hometown, we had a victory there. So stoked to just have the car perform so well, like we've always wanted it to, you know. It just did everything it needed to do, and it just did it really well.
So while Cole's made a mid-season stab at the series title, it's Californian V8 pilot Andrew Redwood leading the charge heading into Hampton Downs.
No, I've been in second a lot. I always seem to be right there, but never on top, even if it is only by 2.5 points. But yeah, I just need to keep my head down and make sure I know it's only 2.5 points. And there's a lot of guys right there in that top 8 that could easily take my spot, and I could be out of the top 8 if I don't do well this time.
So early in the morning, as the drivers get briefed by the series judges, it's time to check out that track rundown where a new standing start chicane has changed up the judging criteria.
The Hampton Downs T2 drift section is the shortest duration drift section in D1NZ. Despite its length, this has proven to be one of the most difficult sections to master in door-to-door competition, largely due to its unique elevation change that puts a test on car setup as well as driver skill on entry. Like round 3 at Bay Park, round 4 will feature only 2 scoring sectors. 2015 brings new changes to the starting procedure at Hampton Downs. While previous years featured a rolling start into turn 1, drivers will now enter the section from a standing start near the track pit exit. During the battles, the lead car will also navigate a mandatory speed chicane to regulate car speed. From here, drivers will accelerate from the typical race line into a compulsory switchback entry on the right-hand side of the track. This is also known as a mungie. Drivers need to show full commitment to swing the car back to the race line along the wall. This is the first outside clipping zone. Judges want to see the cars slide down the wall at no more than 90 degrees before powering through to a late inside apex. The line judge will heavily mark down for missing this inside clipping point. This is crucial in setting up the preferred line over the hill into Sector 2. The style judge will also be scoring points for quick application of the throttle during the transition from the first outside clipping zone into Sector 2. There are 65 points on offer for Sector 1. Get this wrong and you have thrown away more than half of your points allocation. Entering Sector 2, drivers will be judged on their ability to maintain speed and angle through a smooth and concise switch before hitting the left-hand inside clipping point at the top of the hill. From here, drivers need to use as much throttle as possible to reach the final outside clipping zone, finishing the section with a straight rolling burnout. The style judge will award points for minimal use of the handbrake and full throttle application over the hill. There is 100 points on offer for each qualifying pass. Getting the perfect entry into Sector 1 is the key to the rest of the lap. The cars are primed, the drivers are ready, it's time to go drifting, qualifying for round 4 of the D1NZ D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series.
Welcome back to the D1NZ D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series, round 4, brought to you by Toyotas Galore and Kempy's Mitsubishi. And well, in qualifying it was Drew Donovan pulling through after a bad couple of rounds, and despite hitting the wall during practice again here at round 4, he managed to pull through and qualify. A good effort for the Milwaukee Tools S15.
Cole Armstrong in the V-Energy 250 GT was struggling with mechanical issues. Electrical issues unfortunately pushed him out of the top battles once qualifying. Shane Van Gisbergen also in a borrowed car after troubles in the Hyperdrive R34.
Yeah, well, unfortunately problems with the Hyperdrive LJ Hooker R34, so jumped into Penel Callaghan's Pengu car and having a ball.
Kyle Jackways with a new engine and gearbox setup, qualified in 10th position in the Colton Motors 180SX. Good to see.
Counting down the top 10, and it's the C's Garage S14, piloted by Adam Hedges, qualifying in 9th place. The little SR20 Det doing its job at Hampton Downs.
Michael Prosnick from Australia finding his legs in the SCR S13. He qualified in 8th position. Good to see from the fellow Australian.
Great to see our international competitors here, but Nico Reid qualifying in 7th place. Now he holds the qualifying record here at Hampton Downs, and he did another solid effort early on in the session, but he was pipped down the order into 7th. A good effort from the GVI S15.
Series sponsored driver Andrew Redwood in the Club Auto RX-7 further down the table than he would have liked to see.
Everyone seems to go up and over the hill pretty much about the same, so yeah, it's that first turn commitment and the angle and the speed that you can carry into that first clipping point that really makes the difference.
Dave Steedman in the Mimico S14 really enjoying a new refreshed RB30 engine package. He's settling right into this new car setup in 5th place at Hampton Downs.
Dave Steedman must feel pretty good. You put the Mimico Max Mufflers car into position number 5, qualifying run of 80. Awesome stuff out there, man. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm absolutely stoked. I can't believe, we've come so far, struggled all season, blow up at round 1, jump in the teammates' car for the next 2 rounds. It's fantastic to finally, get the thing going and get some results.
Picking up 4th position is the 4-time DK, the defending champion. Gaz Wider in the Phoenix S14. Fluid textbook style picks him up some all-valuable qualifying championship points.
Gets us a buy into the top 16, saves us more tyres. It's got to be good.
3rd place went to Kurt Whitaker in the Autosure R34, another dark horse for the championship after taking that podium at Mount Smart. He's settling in here at Hampton Downs.
No, awesome. It's the track has had a lot of rubber laid down, and it's getting really sticky, and we're just kind of chasing the grip levels.
Qualifying in position number 2 is that of Darren Kelly in the Turbo Smart Oz Racing Suspension R34. He was leading the championship up to Bay Park, and now it's Andrew Redwood. So he'll be looking for a great position here. Qualifying points, very important for him, coming in 2nd position.
So that qualifying position number 2 is actually giving you the lead in the championship now after qualifying. How does that feel?
Yeah, we just had a look at that on the Google Docs, and yeah, that's pretty cool to be back in the lead, but it's all going to come down to the battles and where everyone finishes at the end of the day, so we'll still be pushing hard to get to the end.
And it was one of the ex-DKs, one of the originals of D1NZ, Fangadan Woolhouse in the Century batteries, Holden Commodore taking out that crucial P1, 12 points for qualifying in 1st. What an effort from him in the new VE Commodore.
We did a really good run in that first run, and I said to the boys, well, it's all out in this last one, so yeah, pushed myself pretty hard, and got number 1, so I'm pretty stoked.
Fantastic effort there from Fangadan and the Century Batteries Commodore. As we take a look at the top 32 battle tree, and Thanger gets a bye, so too for Gaz and Dave Steedman. So all eyes will be on Adam Hedges and Shane Allen for that first battle up, and Brad Smith and Jody Verhulst.
On the right-hand side of the table, Kelly Whitaker and Redwood get byes. Bruce Danik versus Joe Marshall will be one of the battles to watch. Danum Templeman with the high horsepower 2JZ will be another one.
One of the talking points here at round 4 of the New Zealand Drifting Championship was how D1NZ could keep the track interesting for drivers. What they've done for the first time in competition in New Zealand is introduce the start chicane. What that means is that the cars move away from the Demon Energy start gate and the lead car moves to the left. That ensures that as cars enter the section, they should be equally matched speed-wise.
Well, Warren's really excited to be here at round 3. Troy Jenkins in the Pro-Am Development Series is the leader, the man to beat. Adam Davies and Joel Hedges just below. So we have a look at the Cody's top 4 of the Pro-Am battles. And you can see there Graham Smythe versus Michael Fawley. Hedges versus Stuart Baker. Smythe, a circuit racer trying his hand at drifting, is first up against Michael Fawley. Now he is borrowing Bex Bennett's NZKW R32. Who is going to show the goods?
Well, Michael Fawley leading out in the Bex Bennett Pro-Am machine was looking strong throughout practice, but obviously he's in that borrowed car. It's a little bit unfamiliar to him, but he seems to be settling in right now. But look at Graham Smythe just hanging off that rear quarter of the NZKW R32.
Yes, well, Graham Smythe is definitely a driver not to be underestimated. Driver to like the 12-hour Bathurst with the Trass Family Motorsport in the Ferrari. He is one to watch. He went through. We will see him soon, but now we have Joel Hedges up against Stuart Baker.
Now, Joel Hedges in the Sears Garage S13 in the running for the championship this year, so he's taking a careful approach in the chase here, but he doesn't want to wash out too wide. Now, he might have been put off a little bit there from Stu Baker's entry. In fact, he's all over the track. The whole run's gone, Brendan.
Yeah, Stuart Baker, nice fluid run there. He would score the advantage, so he would go through for the battle for first and second, but first it's the battle for third and fourth in the Pro-Am Development Series. Joel Hedges on the left, Mike Fawley in the borrowed car on the chase. So Joel Hedges will be looking for important championship points here. Big initiation there from the Sears Garage S13 as well. Fawley just hanging back there, but he pushes wide. Now he's off that sticky rubber, so Joel Hedges will get a crucial advantage here on the first pass.
Yeah, that's right. He needs to obviously get those championship points, as you say, being the final spot on the podium, and everything's valuable when it comes down to that final round at the grand final at Pukekohe.
Yeah, well, you see that standing start there, working a treat for the lead driver, allowing that chase driver just to get that all-important close proximity, but he hasn't used it wisely here on Fawley. Now he just does know he's got an advantage, so Fawley will just be trying to push out that gap, try to score all those points back, and it's not going to be enough, and Hedges will take the third podium spot.
All right, time for the final battle. Let's go trackside with Stu Baker.
I haven't battled him before, so yeah, it'll be interesting. Just go hard or go home, man. That's it.
I've never battled him in practice at all, so it's sort of a little bit unknown going in. But yeah, I'm all new to this drifting stuff, so to make the podium already, I'm pretty stoked.
Well, it's great to see new faces coming into drifting here at D1NZ. Graham Smythe, his second round ever. Stuart Baker has been a bit of a regular in the Pro-Am Development Series, and you've seen his development really well. Graham Smythe, nice entry there, even though he's on the trace. Bit of a correction from Stuart Baker on the lead. Graham Smythe just going to play it safe. He'll try to close up this gap as they come over the hill into Sector 2. Stuart Baker, good line there, I should say. Be a very interesting score from the judges.
Yeah, Stu Baker just looked like there was just a little bit too much grip in the rear as he came in on that entry. Obviously the judges are looking for that 90-degree angle as they come through that first sector, but Smythe now has that little bit of an advantage, and he comes through with a very fast lap.
Yeah, Stuart Baker holding back there, but he just washes out, unfortunately, onto those marbles. Very hard to get traction back to close the gap up when you go that wide on Hampton's turn 1. He does manage to put the loud pedal down and close it a bit, but it's not going to be enough. Graham Smythe takes his first ever podium victory.
Went one more time. I actually thought I'd lost it after the first run. His car's super fast. I actually struggled to keep up quite a bit. But yeah, no, I'm stoked to come away with what I think is a win at the moment. I'm pretty stoked.
Well, there's your Pro-Am Development Series top 3 for Hampton Downs. Round 4, Graham Smythe topping the podium from Stuart Baker and Joel Hedges.
Well, there you have it, your Pro-Am Championship leaders. You can check more about them on D1NZ.com. But coming up after the break, it's the Pro Top Championship competition. Welcome back to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship, Hampton Downs Raceway, Waikato, brought to you by Toyotas Galore and Kempy's Mitsubishi. It's the pro competition now, top 16. Let's go trackside with some of the drivers.
It's a little bit more difficult for the drivers. We've got to really get off the line, and it can be won and lost straight off the line, you know. So it's a little bit different, but hey, we need a little bit of difference at Hampton Downs.
We stop just like the American series. You go through a chicane.
and then into the first corner. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to. I found it a lot better, had one practice and loved it.
It gives it another sort of form of excitement for us as drivers to deal with, and also as the crowd gives them something else to look at.
I actually quite like it. It's cool, you know, you're accelerating straight off the line and accelerating into the section instead of slowing down and handbraking through the section, which, you know, just adds a new element to it. And yeah, I think it's going to be good for battles. Definitely switched up a bit.
You've got to nail that first corner 110% to get good scores anyway, and it makes the rest of the section flow. So yeah, we're definitely pushing hard to max the angle and apex right at the bottom of that hill there for a nice tidy line over the top there.
So in next week's show, you will see Woolhouse, Wider and Steadman as they fight for that championship final at Pukekohe Raceway, the all-important points, and also Kelly Whitaker and Redwood. But right now, it is the top 32 battles. Tom Marshall versus Gaz Grove, B8 versus RB Kenny.
Tom Marshall in the ATJ S13 up against the V8-powered Gull Fuels CMP Construction S15. Both drivers not bad on the entry here, but Tom Marshall just trying to close that gap.
Yeah, great execution there for Tom Marshall on turn one, and he manages to just close that gap. Proximity is key here for the judges. If you are online, little correction there coming out of the section, but that will be an advantage to Tom Marshall, and he goes through to the top 16. So it's short highlights here of the top 32. Drew Donovan versus the Australian Michael Prosnick on the lead in the SCR S13. Two V8s here, two LS-powered V8s. Big angle there from Michael Prosnick, but Drew Donovan just too hot, washes out onto those marbles. Will that be a zero from the judges? Well, Michael Prosnick knows it, puts the loud pedal down, scores a huge advantage, Kenny.
Yeah, I'd say his spotter up in the tower will be radioing through to make sure that he knows he's got the advantage. Will he hold back? Well, we're about to find out. Drew Donovan now gets a chance to lead here in the Milwaukee Tools S15, and Michael Prosnick all over the rear, and he tags the rear. Well, in fact, it sends Donovan off into the dirt.
He didn't hold back at all, Kenny. I like his driving style, but just too aggressive. Taps Drew Donovan. Drew Donovan would have had no idea what was happening there. We go to the Demon replay. Big angle there from Michael Prosnick, over 90 degrees as well, so that would have scored him a zero instantly. 10-0 to Drew Donovan. Drew Donovan washes out, but that gets him through to the top 16.
So a bit unfortunate for Michael Prosnick, our Aussie invader, but a bit of a lifeline thrown there for Drew Donovan, who slots into the 16 as we take a look at the next battle up. Adam Hedges taking on the Rattler Motorsport BOC SB Tools Falcon.
Yeah, so nice entry there from Adam Hedges. Fluid motion, bit of a correction there from Shane Allen in the SB Tools Falcon, but as they come over the hill here, big mistake from Hedges. Straight lines twice, and that is a mechanical, and it unfortunately puts him out of the top 16. Shane Allen through.
Bit unfortunate for the Seas Garage machine, but on screen right now, the battle of the S chassis all the way from Wellington, Matt Lauder and Shane Giles, and you'll see the rear wings missing off these cars as teams try to dial the grip out of the car here at Hampton Downs today, and Shane Giles doing a pretty good job in the A1 Homes S14, but that chase from Matt Lauder will send him through to the top 16.
Our only female pro competitor here, Jodie Verhulst in the Milwaukee Supra versus Brad Smith in the Burgerfield 350Z. Two very unique cars here. What are we going to have? Who initiates first? Big initiation there from Brad Smith, but Jodie, back door, bumper to bumper proximity, but she washes out. Real unfortunate for Jodie Verhulst. She was on form coming into the section. Easy pass here for Brad Smith, going through to the top 16 next weekend show.
Next up, Joe Marshall up against Bruce Tannock in the Achilles S13. Marshall in the ATJ 180SX. He's in the lead lane. They navigate the chicane as they come on through.
And two very fast cars here. Joe Marshall out on the lead. Has a big gap all of a sudden. Bruce Tannock in their S13. Both very fast. Lots of traction in these cars, and they can close gaps good. But Bruce Tannock back a bit, and a bit of a slight correction there. Huge advantage, three-wheel from Marshall. That's going to be enough, and it sends him through to the top 16. And we are fast running through these battles. Vincent Langhorne versus Nico Reed next. Vincent Langhorne winning the Pro-Am Development Series last year and finally getting his car ready. But the seasoned veteran Nico Reed in the GVI S15. He is one not to underestimate as he starts closing the gap up over the hill. Good angle from both these drivers. Nico Reed already has the advantage, closes the gap down. It's just not going to be enough for Langhorne. Reed through to the top 16.
All right, a battle of old foes here. Kyle Jackaways and Dainham Templeman. Dainham Templeman struggling all weekend in the NAC RX7, so he's got a lot to try and pull out of the bag here as the Hamilton schoolteacher fires on in the lead in the Colton's Motors 180SX. And what did I say? Commentators curse Brendan. Dainham Templeman all over that first apex.
Yeah, really unfortunate for the NAC RX7. You can see his wing off as well, trying to dial out that traction, but fortunate for the Colton's Motors 180SX. Kyle Jacquez, we'll see him next week's show. So we round out the final battle of the top 32s with two characters. Phil Sutherland, the man who rolled his 831 Safiro at Mount Smart Stadium. Big entry from both. Phil Sutherland drops some dirt, and Joe Kukatai shallows up in the Rockstar Energy R32. These two drivers are the characters of D1NZ, as I said. Just marked down for Kukatai, unfortunately, and it's going to be enough for Phil Sutherland to go through to the top 16 next week. So we have a look at our top 16 table, Kenny.
Yeah, Fangadan will head off against Marshall for first battle. Donovan, Allen, Whiter, Lauder, Steedman and Smith. On the other side, we've got Kelly and Marshall, Reed and Jackaways, Whitaker and Sutherland, and Andrew Redwood and Shane Van Gisbergen to round out the top 16.
Now our fans here, do not forget, 3 years in the making, the fastest drifting corner in the world, Pukekohe Raceway. Grand final, May the 23rd and 24th. If you love motorsport, that is the place to be. Demon Energy brings you D1NZ in association with Gull Fuels, Cody's Bourbon and Cola, Pyro Company Fireworks, The Rock FM, Metal Militia, The Bling Company, Laser Tools, our awesome insurance company, Club Auto Insurance, and our cup sponsor, Toyota's Galore and Kempy's Mitsubishi. Check us out on D1NZ.com and check the grand final out.